At no moment I have been interested in making archaeology of Jesus to stay in the past. No, I wanted to see how important Jesus is for us today. Today, philosophers of history state that the past is not something closed or stays there, but as soon as you approach the past, it has more or less importance, and above all, the great characters, such as Jesus, who has had an immense impact on history, as soon as you get close, it makes you think, and you wonder who that man was and what he reminds us of. It becomes into a challenge and also into a promise. And so I had difficulties to approach the book, but finally I discovered this. There is data acknowledged by all historians, whether atheists, agnostics, all of them, those who were close to Jesus knew he was good news. Jesus was something good and something new. What was good and new about Jesus? Will he be able today to disclose something new and good to today's man? And that provided color to my book. And then I wanted to approach what people lived through Jesus. Tune the faith he started to awaken some, recover today the good news he fired into hearts, and of course, as I see the impact the book has, then I see that which I was convinced of. Jesus alive and Jesus narrated through the Gospels, which is more alive than a catechism. The figure of Jesus alive has much more power than any doctrine. A doctrine does not enchant or seduce or heats one up, but someone like Jesus does. And the language of Jesus is more attractive than the theologians or quotations written all over, and his message is more up-to-date and close to youngsters, which I have verified in more than one occasion. Jesus' language turns out to be more attractive than ours. Who was I thinking about then? I have tried to approach Jesus thinking he might be something good to all of us. I have thought about Christians, but the truth is that I am impressed on how they talk about Jesus and not the book. People say, I did not know he was so great, and I am ashamed not to have known him before, but we realize now what we have, just like a discovery. I was so ashamed to hear people talk about Jesus in a vague, idealist manner. That image of Jesus cannot charm or enchant anyone. If I talk vaguely about my girlfriend, this and that, please, but who is she? But then, I have said before, Jesus does not belong to the good ones alone, nor to the Christians alone. So I started thinking about so many people that do not know Jesus. I have particularly thought about those who are disappointed with the church. A lady from Tolosa once told me, I am allergic to you, priests. So, she will have to meet a more attractive one. For she said she's allergic to us. That is terrible. It is written for those who do not know where to search. I know that for them, it may turn into great news. Once you start speaking with authenticity, they start putting up another face, another attention. You know that Jesus used to say, he who has ears, let him listen. And there is a translation into the Aramaic that puts it as,
pues hay uno, Crossan, un gran, que traduce del arameo, traduce más o menos así, lo que Jesús diría. Jesús decía,
He who has ears, let him move them. So they use some other ears, and I have a thought about you, so many readers. The Da Vinci Code book. It had been already several years since Dan Brown wrote the book, and everybody read it in the car, in the bus. Science fiction. I also want this book to work out and be an instrument for modern society, accessible to people. For those books have turned into a fraud that deceive people. Books, for example, as the Magdalene, this and that, the Holy Grail, the Secret Loves, etc. In the Middle Ages, I do not know if you know this, fairy tales were much read, but nowadays people read any kind of stories. It is incredible. And lastly, Jesus has me thinking about these last ones. Of course, that I have written with sensitivity, but I realized then what were poor people to Jesus. That upon Jesus looking to his Father, he would see the last ones, the privileged ones, the little ones, the least important ones. That by the end, especially over the last chapters, I wanted it to reach the last ones and thought about terminal patients, mistreated women, people without love, criminals forgotten in jails, people that die alone, people forsaken by all religions. It's not that they do not have flowers, but not even a prayer. Nobody remembers them. In times of Jesus, they would eat with him.